where industries are constantly evolving, one thing that remains true to us is the development of skills. Skills are the foundation upon which we build stronger individuals, better communities, and a brighter future. Today, we invite you to discover how SASSETA is helping people unlock their full potential and preparing them for the jobs of tomorrow. Welcome to SASSETA, where skills meet opportunities. We are committed to providing transformative learning experiences that equip individuals with the skills needed to thrive in today's fast-paced, ever-changing workforce. At SASSETA, our mission is simple. It is to transform and professionalize the safety and security sector by providing qualifications and quality skills through efficient partnerships. We do this by offering a range of training programs ranging from foundational skills to advanced certifications, designed to meet the needs of both individuals and employers. Our approach is hands-on, industry-focused, and customized to ensure our participants are job-ready from day one. Our commitment goes beyond the classroom. We are deeply embedded in the communities we serve, hosting job fairs, career counseling sessions, and stakeholder workshops that foster stronger connections between talent and the opportunity. We believe that every milestone achieved, whether it's gaining certification, securing a job, or advancing in one's career, deserves to be celebrated. For us, it's about more than just a skills development. It's about transforming lives. It's about giving people a confidence and capability to take charge of their future. As we look to the future, we know that the work we do today will shape tomorrow's workforce. We are proud to be part of a movement that is helping individuals to achieve their dreams, supporting employers with skilled talent, and building stronger and more resilient communities. But of course, we can't do it alone. Our partnership with stakeholders like you are key to the success of our mission. Whether you're an investor, an employer, a community leader, or an educator, your support helps us to continue grow, innovate, and create new opportunities for the individuals we serve. Together, we create a workforce that is equipped, resilient, and ready for whatever the future holds.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are a bit refreshed after a cup of tea and something sweet. We are ready to forge on with our program. I just wanted to indicate before we proceed that for SASSETA to achieve their 100% performance, it was not an easy task. I think I'm the executive responsible for the program which has the bulk of the targets which deal with the training aspect. And I just wanted to shout out to the SASSETA staff that we really appreciate your hard work. We know it was not easy. Sometimes things become tough, especially in the last quarter of the financial year. And we have to be very strict with staff. We have to push staff, but SASSETA staff, you have really showed your true worth, and you have uptaken the challenges with open arms, and we really appreciate that. Also linked to that, I think I want to indicate that for you to achieve today, you have to have a sober mind. You also have to be have your focus on the ball, your eye on the ball all the time, and it's not easy to do that, especially when you're dealing with different personalities, etc. And we are sometimes very strict at SASSETA, I think, as the executive team, in terms of how we approach matters, but it is exactly that strictness that leads us to achieve what we've achieved for the last financial year. I think with that said, in terms of the videos that were played a little earlier on, I personally had put some pressure on the marketing team, and they delivered a good job. And I want to appreciate them for that, especially the new addition to the marketing family. She's Nosipo. I call her Nosi. She's new, right? But thank you, Nosi, for all the hard work over the past 2 weeks to put together those videos. They were indeed lovely. We appreciate. So shout out to Nosi. So in terms of the beneficiaries, for us to proceed, ladies and gentlemen, our next beneficiary who's going to join us on stage is Faik Mohammed, and he's from Fidelity Security. Just like the other beneficiary who had spoken from Fidelity, he had also done the electronic security installation practices learnership. It's one of the technical learnerships that we do in the private security industry that allows a learner to be trained on how to install an alarm, to set up the entire system of alarms. And given the circumstances we find ourselves in as South Africa, most of private residents are indeed looking for that service. So that is one of those niche areas, and therefore you see, I think this is the second beneficiary that we're calling to stage who has done the electronic security program and who has got employment. We've been told by Fidelity that the bulk of the learners doing the electronic security learnership do indeed get employment because of the demand for the electronic security installation. So I just wanted to indicate that. Faik, you can come and tell us your story. Thanks.
Good day to one and all. Before I start, I would like to thank SASSETA, Fidelity, and the program director for giving me the opportunity to be here today. After a long period of unemployment, I faced significant challenges in providing for myself and my family. However, a turning point came where I was selected for the Fidelity learnership, an incredible opportunity made possible by the funding of SASSETA. This learnership offered me a chance to gain new skills and knowledge in the security services, equipping me with the tools to build a better future. Throughout the program, I learned practical concepts that prepared me for the demands of the professional world. The experience not only boosted my confidence, but also broadened my understanding of the industry. After months of dedication and hard work, I successfully completed the learnership and was certified, which marked a significant achievement in my career journey. Despite the success, I experienced another period of unemployment, but my qualification opened doors for me. Fidelity recognized the value I could bring to their team, and now I am able to support my family and improve our quality of life. Being employed has brought financial stability and restored hope for a brighter future. I am grateful for the learnership and the second chance it has given me to succeed, and I am committed to making the most of this opportunity to grow professionally and personally. Life has a way of presenting unexpected challenges, but each one teaches a valuable lesson. My journey towards personal and professional growth has been no different. Over the years, I faced several hurdles that have shaped my character, strengthened my resolve, and led me to the incredible learnership opportunity at Fidelity. Growing up, I encouraged challenges that pushed me out of my comfort zone. My family faced financial constraints that made it difficult to access opportunity easily available to others. I often had to prioritize helping at home over focusing on my personal aspirations. This experience taught me the value of resilience, adaptability, and making the most of limited resources. One of my biggest struggles was deciding on a career path that aligned with the skills and passion I had. I knew I wanted to make a meaningful impact, but I often felt lost due to the lack of guidance and exposure. Despite these feelings, I took small steps towards self-improvement. I worked part-time jobs to support myself while attending community events and seminars to learn from others. My turning point came when I realized that every challenge I faced was an opportunity to grow. This realization motivated me to seek resources and networks that could provide career direction. That's when I learned about Fidelity's learnership program. A friend introduced me to the concept, and my curiosity led me to research the organization and the program's benefits. What drew me to Fidelity was its focus on fostering growth and excellence in employees. The learnership program felt like the perfect fit, offering both structural training and practical experiences to equip participants for success. I was impressed by Fidelity's commitment to empowering individuals like me, who are eager to learn and thrive despite challenges. One of the most meaningful aspects of the experiences was the opportunity to work alongside experienced professionals who acted as mentors. I wish to thank SASSETA and Fidelity for giving me this opportunity. The experience has laid a strong foundation for my career and has motivated me to pursue excellence in everything I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Faiq Mohammed. Our next beneficiary, while she's making her way to the stage, I think I want to tell you a little bit of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're aware that in terms of the SASSETA grant regulations, the bulk of our funds are spent on our pivotal training programs, that is training programs like your learnerships, your bursaries, your internships, programs the CEO spoke to earlier on. But there is a small percentage of funds that are kept for non-pivotal projects, and these are projects that will help ordinary people to give them some sort of skill, which is not necessarily credit-bearing, where you'd learn something, you may not necessarily get a qualification, which is recognized on the NQF, etc. So over the years, we've, as SASSETA, implemented many projects with the funding given to, that part of the funding, and we've given funding to various stakeholders so that they can implement training. So for the year under review, part of our focus was on offender rehabilitation and placement programs. I think as a safety and security sector, everything gets thrown to us. We are told to assist everywhere, and yet we have a very small budget. But yes, we were told to get into that space, and we rolled up our sleeves and we implemented a learning program under our special projects unit, which is headed by Ms. Linda Ngumalo. So we have a beneficiary of that program who's going to come to the podium to tell her story. So in that regard, I don't want to talk to her speech. Can we ask Ntombi Chabi to please come forward? While she's walking to the podium, that program was implemented by the skills development provider, Beauty for Ashes.
Hello, everyone. Guys, I think today I saw heaven because today I was up there. It was my first time to be on a plane. And thank you so much. My name is Ndomikona Kabi. My story is one of change because I changed. I have a second chance to do better with my life. I was abandoned by my mother at the age of 4 years, and grew up in an orphanage and foster homes. My childhood was a big struggle because I had no one that I could go to. I got involved with a man who abused me, and I was defending myself, and because of that, I landed in prison. My sentence was 5 years, and after 2 years, I was able to get parole. But I had nowhere to go. Beautiful Ashes was doing prison ministry at Portsmouth at the time and offered me a place to stay and to support me. I at first struggled to accept the rules of the halfway house and my parole conditions. I broke my parole conditions twice, but then I realized I might lose all I've been working for. Thanks to Auntie Stephanie van Wyk for plea begging for me, I was given a second chance with strict conditions in place. I could go home and not go back to prison. So I entered SASSETA program, which provided me with the tools to rebuild my life. The program helped me to receive a place to stay, and I also find a passion for cosmetology, focusing on Swedish massage. I'm very good with it. The life skills classes and computer courses improved my life, and for the first time, I began to see a path forward filled with opportunity. SASSETA provided me with stipend that allowed me to buy a massage bed because I was like, I need to do something because I need money. I was soon working from the safety and comfort of our home. There is still one problem, however, my criminal record, my past crime has made it difficult to find employment, especially in spas, which is where I really would love to work. Now, as a qualified cosmetologist, I have proved that with the right support, that's Mr. SASSETA and Auntie Stephanie van Wyk, it is possible to overcome even the most difficult circumstances. I am deeply grateful for Beauty for Ashes, SASSETA, and everyone who has been part of my journey. My story is a reminder that no matter how challenging life may be, there is always a hope for change. And I've changed a lot. You see this beauty that you see now. It's because of these people. With the right support, anyone can rise above their past and create a future filled with possibilities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Beauty for Ashes is represented from Stephanie. Maybe if I can ask that she stand up, just so that people know, you can interact with her. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, our last beneficiary for today is a beneficiary who was an employed person. Remember, we do training for unemployed youth and for employees who are employed by the various employers. And with employees, our aim is to enhance their skills so that they can do their work more effectively and efficiently, as well as to give them something so that they could perhaps qualify for promotions, etc. So our next beneficiary is an employee of Bidvest Protea Coin Security, and I'm invited to the stage for her to tell us her story. Her name is Kamogelo Toblatla. Kamogelo?
Thank you, Program Director. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the board, and honored guests, my name is Kamogelo. I'm from Bidvest Protea Coin. It is an absolute privilege to stand here before you as a newly promoted financial manager and a recent graduate of the Management Development Program. I'm so sorry, Alrighty. I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to share my story and highlight how unwavering support I found from Bidvest, together with the funding from SASSETA, has been a very instrumental part in shaping my career. When I joined Bidvest, I thought I brought this ambitious character, and I knew that I had this vision for growth. However, I knew that alone, with my hard work, I couldn't achieve it. I needed some guidance, mentorship, and access to advanced knowledge to enhance my skills. Sorry, it's very nerve-wracking to speak before like 150 people. However, okay. To build leadership capacity and to prepare me for the greater opportunity, this is where the funding played a pivotal role. The MDP program has transformed my life. It has equipped me with deeper understanding of strategic decision-making, financial planning, and people management, which all of this were essential for my new role. I honed the experience, the ability to analyze complex problems, collaborate effectively with teams, and to align my work with the visions of the company. But the MDP did more than enhance my technical skills. It has instilled in me a renewed vision of confidence and self-belief. The diverse cohort of working with broadened my perspective, and the mentorship I received from this experience and leaders inspired me to push boundaries. Today, I bring these insights and lessons to my role, contributing to a more meaningful company's growth and success. SASSETA's funding has not only enabled my participation in the program, but also demonstrated a deep commitment to empowering individuals like myself, building a pipeline of leaders within our organizations. This investment is a testament to your belief in people like me, the potential we carry. It is in a belief that motivates us to excel and in turn drive the company to its greater success. I stand here before you not as an individual who benefited from your generosity, but as a representative of all the countless lives that you continue to support. Your contributions are not just financial, they are life-changing. In closing, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to SASSETA and to Bidvest Protea Coin, believing in me and others like me. Your partnership has not only elevated careers, but it also reinforced the values of investing in people. Together, we are building a future with possibilities. Thank you for your trust, your support, your vision. I am excited of what lies ahead, and I'm honored to be part of this incredible journey. Thank you. But on a lighter note, regarding your financial performance, I'd like to congratulate all of you with the 100% of meeting your targets. For myself, coming from a financial background, it's very, it's very excellent. And I'd like to send out a message to the board, to the execs, that I believe in rewarding your employees, because once you when you reward your employees, you set a new tone for the future, for the next financial year. So good job to that.
Thank you very much, Kamakelo. Your speech was lovely. You also did part of my job. The board heard the last part very clearly. Yeah, I can hear Mr. Moyo laughing. Yes, the MDP, ladies and gentlemen, is the Management Development Program. So at SASSETA, we are focused on giving bursaries, especially to women, so that they can uptake the leadership challenges. So they can study the Management Development Program, the Executive Development Program, and the Advanced Development Program, which helps you to build those leadership skills. Talking about beneficiaries, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's all hard work in the office. So I just wanted to give you some feedback. Last year, a lot of you were touched when Mulalo came to the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, you remember Mulalo, the victim of gender-based violence. So I just wanted to give you some progress, ladies and gentlemen. We did manage to get the prosthetic arm for Mulalo. She has, we've came good as SASSETA on that promise. We've also had some of our stakeholders who assisted us with the issue of the electricity problem that Mulalo was facing. Remember, Mulalo was coming from Makado, and I'm sure ladies and gentlemen who attended last year are aware of the sad circumstances of her story. I think a lot of people came to me afterwards and indicated, some of them said that they couldn't bear to listen to the things that was done to Malalo. They even had to leave the hall to get a break outside. So some of the stakeholders are assisting us. We have not yet managed to restore electricity, but we are working on it. ESCOM has been there to her place, and it is still work in progress, because, and it's not because it can't be done, it's because there's some infrastructure issues in that area, but we are still at work, and we're hoping that by the next few months that she will also have electricity restored to her home. And also we got the mayor involved, and they have arranged some support for her so that she can be able to purchase the daily, purchase food and other items which are required for one to survive on a daily basis. So we will give you feedback on that, further feedback, but I just wanted to indicate what has happened since last year, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think it's time for our choir to come and do the next item, so I want to invite them before we get into the meat of the non-financial and financial performance. I see there's a hand from the floor. It's unprecedented, but while the choir is making their way to the front, I can take your hand, sir. Are you pledging?
Thank you very much, Program Director. My name is Vusi Changase. I represent organized labor. And I was saying, Program Director, I know that it is unprecedented that in the middle of a program, you get someone wanting to speak. I want to speak on two issues and sit down. The first issue is in relation to the good story that is being told now. And my observation is that the selection of the participants on the achievement program, in particular from the employer side, is in the main, regrettably, the white-owned establishments. And I felt that we should encourage SASSETA to be conscious of that in the future, so that SASSETA is not perceived as an institution that is consolidating the status quo. It will be of great interest, at least from us as organized labor, to see the participation of black-owned security companies, because there are many out there. To sit and listen to a good story as it is, that is in the main composed of all the employers that would have been mentioned, it's something that I would not let it go. And I felt that I should put it on record so that the management and the board of SASSETA is sensitive to our diversity. And second issue, and the last issue, and I will sit down, Program Director, is that the CEO in his address made mention of the board nomination notice as issued by the minister. We want to take advantage of this AGM and the presence of the officials from DHET to register what I would call a concern. That we were issued with an invitation for board nomination on the 22nd of November, on Friday, and the closing date is the 29th, which gives us a week. I know that the minister is quite mindful of the fact that it is not individuals who are nominating, but it is stakeholders. And that process entails, amongst other things, internal communication in organizations as to who to nominate. And we think that a 7 days notice is extremely insufficient. Over and above that, amongst the listed compliance list, it is said that we as applicants are required to submit clearance certificate from the SAPS. And that must be done within a 7 days period. It is, with good respect, unreasonable. Over and above that, we think that there is a mistake on that, because we are required to self-clear. In the past, the understanding is that you will apply or you will submit the nomination, and SASSETA or the organization receiving the nomination will clear or veto the individuals nominated. So we would therefore appeal that beyond this AGM, that unfortunate confusion be clarified, and that the nomination period be extended beyond the 29th to allow sufficient consultation amongst stakeholders. Thank you very much, Program Director, and I'm very sorry for this.
Okay, thank you very much. Sir, I think just before we let the Koya to proceed, on your second issue, I think there are officials of the department here, because SASSETA acts on the instructions of the department, so they have taken note, and we have also taken note of your issues, and we will address them. But sir, regarding your first issue, I think I beg to differ with you a bit. I've indicated that we chose beneficiaries based on performance, and we have evidence to show the companies who had absorbed learners. So that has been audited, like I said. So I think, and I've made this call earlier on, that it's up to stakeholders to take up the baton and also absorb learners. We cannot say that, no, it's only the white companies who's doing it. No, all of us must do it. So if there's other companies, we're putting out a challenge to you, please. When you take on unemployed learners, please endeavor to absorb some of those learners. So it's a challenge, please do so that you can come and stand here and tell us your story. In fact, I think I'll pose that challenge to Ditawu itself. All right, I think we can then hand over to the Koya. Sorry for the delay, you can proceed to render your item.
Andiphela mandla andiphela mandla andiphela mandla
Thank you once again. I'm going to now invite the Executive Manager for reporting, Mr. Vukani Memela, to the podium for him to take us through the non-financial performance of SASSETA. While he's making his way to the podium, there was a physician, an engineer, and a lawyer. They were debating about their professions. They were trying to find out which profession has been around the longest. So the doctor said, doctors were here first. Eve was created from the rib of Adam, so it needed surgery. So we were the first guys here. And the engineer said, no. The books also say that the heavens and earth were created. And then for that to happen, there must have been engineers around first. So the clever lawyer says, sorry guys, I have to burst your bubble. Before all of that, there was chaos. Who do you think caused the chaos? Mr. Memela?
Thank you very much for inviting me to the podium. Program Director, allow me to stand on established protocol. Suffice to say to our esteemed guests and delegates, colleagues, Sanmonan. When I was sitting down there, I had a couple of issues which I must confess. The first one, okay, thank you. The first one, when there are many speakers before you, you end up not trusting your message. As I was looking at my report, I was trying to curate it so that it enables to catch the audience. So the second one, this annual report that we are tabling here today, it's about 141 pages. To summarize it, and it has been a task, so I will try my best to make sure that my presentation, it captures what I think as a presenter it's befitting that I must say, because now the discretion, it sits with me as a presenter, but the annual report will be made available. All the information, it's here, audited, declared, even in Parliament. So the presentation might not necessarily cover everything that is sitting on the annual report. So with that, I thought, let me alert you. As I'm starting my presentation, SASSETA is doing a great work out there, but it might not be sufficient. We can still do more, but we are trying our best as an institution to make a contribution towards the broader agenda of the developmental state. So we would like to urge all our stakeholders here and beyond to work with us in this difficult mandate. You can't call yourself as a developmental state and then you don't develop and educate and skill your people. So the SETAs, they are playing a very important role in that context. So which I believe they will continue to do so, but with the support of society, government, and the private sector, and all stakeholders that wish to participate in this front. Program Director, without further ado, I have many slides, but I want to promise that I will try to deliver my presentation within 15 minutes. So I will make emphasis where I believe I should, so you will bear with me. So the slide that probably you see now, it just gives you the outline of my presentation. I will touch on the introduction as I'm introducing my presentation. I will reflect slightly on the mandate and the scope of the SETA. I will also look at the vision and mission and values which drive our strategy. And those values, they also give the character as an institution, how we interact with the Republic, our stakeholders, and all the players that are in our space. So this is important to us because when it drives our strategy, whenever we have to remind ourselves, we go back to our vision and mission, why we exist, what we seek to achieve, what are the values that we want to be known of as we embark on our course to deliver on the mandate. I will also look at the performance information overview. I think the CEO and the chair have already touched on, and the program director in terms of how the SETA has performed. We will then look at the performance of various programs, how those programs under the year review had been able to perform. We will then look at ahead and conclude. I'm not going to spend time on the annexure. It just gives you the program indicators and targets and the details So it also contained on the annual report, but we've made a cross-reference because we didn't want to bore you with the details, just to simplify what is sitting on the annual report. This slide is quite important to us as the program director, and the CEO said this is the last AGM for the board. We are also here want to celebrate them and thank them for the guidance and the leadership under the chairman, Mr. Chris Mdao. We've learned a lot. You've taken the organization what was fragile. You've laid the foundation. You've done your part. We will forever be grateful for your insight, for your guidance in terms of how we have learned. So when the boardroom is right and equipped with the right people, you will see the result coming. Let us give the board members the round of applause. I also want to thank all our chamber members as well, because this performance was also their contribution. Some of our colleagues from the chambers are here, so they sit and shape the content and the context of the sector skills priority that we seek to advance as the institution. So can we also give them the round of applause? I think I will leave the executive and the management and staff. I will come back later. So I thought let me acknowledge those stakeholders that had helped us a great deal. Just to introduce my presentation, I've put a few points for reflection. As I said, that we can do more as an institution, but that it hinges on various dependables. One of that is a budget. As a SASSETA, when we conduct business, we do that on the strength of our balance sheet. We're a small SASSETA. We don't have a big budget as we would love to, but with the budget that we have, so we are able to split it and try to make the impact that we ought to do and advance our mandate in the context of the sector and the economy and the country at large. As we do that, we are also guided by our strategic plan and the sector skills protection for the sector, and also the service level agreement that we will sign with the Department of Higher Education and Training. So all these things, they are very important in the context of this performance that we are delivering here today. As we do that, we also deliver our program in line with the National Skills Development Plan, so which it's a guiding document that direct us in our mandate in terms of how we should discharge our mandate and fiduciary responsibility. The next slide that I'm beaming now, just to give the context, the SASSETA and among other SASSETAs are a statutory institution which the Skills Development Act of 1998, it makes the provision that these SASSETAs must be established in various economic sectors. So we are one of the 21 SASSETAs as a SASSETA that was established indeed with a trusted mandate to facilitate the skills development in the safety and security sector. There are many other things that are there which anchor that mandate. I've left all other policy instruments and regulations which guide and regulate us as the SASSETAs. So it suffices to say that as a SASSETA, we facilitate and monitor the skills development in the sector. There are various points there that I try to summarize in a nutshell what we are trying to do. In terms of the scope, as a SASSETA and the mandate that we are entrusted, we are playing in 7 subsectors, as you see there depicted. We have correctional services, we have the private security, we have justice, we have the legal services, we have the policing, we have defense, we have also intelligence activities. Those are the 7 subsectors where we play as a SASSETA. So in those 7 subsectors, there are also a number of stakeholders, key stakeholders, sub-stakeholders, which they are there in each those subsectors. I think the organized labor, it cut across in those subsectors. The organized employers, they are there. There are also other interest groups that we work with. The next slide, as I said, it just gives the identity to the institution and seek to drive our strategy, what we seek to do. Our vision, we aspire to be the leader in skills development for the safety and security sector. In terms of our mission, we are also trying to contribute toward the transformation and professionalization of the sector by providing qualifications and quality skills programs through effective partnership. So we realized that alone we could not able to achieve on this mandate. So we need stakeholders. That's why even our mission, it emphasizes that the stakeholders, they will play a central role in terms of helping us to achieve this mandate. So you will have the values that, as I said earlier, that they seek to guide us how we should relate with our various stakeholders. So you will see in those values, we talk about leadership, equity, how we treat our stakeholders. We are here today to account to all our stakeholders, even to the Republic. We've been in Parliament also 3 weeks ago, where we were also the chairperson, accounting and presenting together with the executive, the annual report. We try all our best that in our activities, in our effort, we remain professional. That's the values that we want to instill in the organization as we build our culture and locate us in the context of the global and the national dynamics. I think this has been said that the SASSETA under the year review, we've achieved 100% with a clean audit. I think, Chair and board members, the expectation have been raised. So one of the beneficiaries here had challenged the board and management. I'm sure the staff, they are tuning in already on the platform. So I hope the board will process that correctly. So the next slide that I'm dealing with now, it just gives them the 3-year picture how this SASSETA has performed. We could have still go even into 5 years, would have still not changed because we've been doing well under the leadership of Mr. Mdao and the board. So this is the result that you see. 21, we've achieved 100% clean audit. 22, 97, we dip a bit, but clean audit. This year, which we are reporting on, which is 23, 100% clean audit. May I get you know, we can take these things light. There are organizations who will take time for them to be where we are. So we should be proud for this. It takes time. Many conversations that are painful, they are happening in a boardroom. We are just here now to deliver the result. So those results, they come at a price. So can we give another round of applause? I think the program director said we are celebrating, so you will bear with us. We are celebrating as we are accounting and delivering this performance as a SASSETA. Program director, let me move. In the annual report, you will see there will be various programs that are contained here. We thought, let us just give our stakeholders an insight and perspective as to what is sitting in those programs. You will see here, that's the board, where the board it sits. with its various structures. It's a board, there's board committees, there's a board secretariat, there's chambers, I spoke of the chambers, there's audit and risk committee, there's internal audit that also sit there. So SASSETA, sometimes we simplify them, but are very complicated enterprise to deal with. You have you will have the office of the CEO. We have there, it's clear what it's looking, but of course, it also comes here. So for simplification, we left it here. Then you have the chief financial officer, you have the corporate service executive with various programs under there. So what this program does, it provides support and it is tasked with with building organizational resilience and capability so that the SASSETA is able to respond to the mandate. This program is also tasked to drive organizational excellence through streamlined and digitized processes. I think the CEO, we touched that as well. So you will start now to see at a high level the connection of what is happening in that program and in the SASSETA. Very big program, various responsibility, various accountability that sit there with the board sit at the top as the accounting authority. The board, it functions by being supported with all of these structures. Why it's important? The structure in the organization, it's quite important. You can have a good strategy, but if your structure is not right, you will stumble. You will find yourself all over the place without being effective on, in this case, delivering on your mandate. So we thought, let us just give you a sense of what this program they are about. So over the 3 years, this program, we also show you how this program has performed, 100% clean audit. So in terms of the year under review, this program had 2 indicators with 5 annual targets, which all were achieved. So you will see there the cross-reference on Annexure 1, slide 23, which I said I'm not going to deal there. It gives you the detail in terms of what were those indicators, what were the targets that this program ought to perform against. On the annual report, if you have already the annual report, you will go to page 19 and 21. Then you will see the details as far as Program 1 and their the performance for the year. Well, of course, we are a living organization. I think the DG touched that. We continuously look at how we can improve. As you know, that this program is tasked with the support and all the base that are required there. So there were internal control improvement in the SASSETA, which it cut across. There was also a turnaround in terms of paying providers with a mandatory document, which is sitting at an average of 2 weeks. The risk management and compliance has been heightened. So you've seen the members of the audit and risk, which are here. They help us to make sure that the things that we say are practical. Indeed, those things are relevant to our context, even to our environment. The communication with stakeholders, it's an ongoing thing. There were much effort that were deployed to ensure that we keep communication with our stakeholders. Generally in the organization, there were general improvement in terms of administration. So as a result, you will see the results speak itself around the audit. The area that we still feel that we still have to do more, there's work that we are doing, but we felt that we are slightly behind. So it's the ICT capacity and infrastructure. So that goes hand in hand. So we will be working on that. I think the CEO as well touched on that. We are now moving to Program 2. Program 2, that's how the structure of Program 2. So this program is tasked with ensuring that the skills investment, learning and training opportunities are more responsive and better aligned with the current and future skills need for the sector and the economy. The intention is to ensure that whatever that we do, our approach, it's data-driven and there's evidence so that the decisions that we take as an organization are not the decisions of feelings. We follow the data. The data informs us as to what we should do. There is one strategic objective that is sitting in this program is to identify occupations in high demand. You will see over the past 3 years, also this program has been able to achieve consistently 100% and clean audit. Under the year review, this program had 6 indicators with 16 annual targets. So there is cross-reference there as well from the presentation and from the annual report for the further details. There were also areas of improvement that were realized in this program and also the challenges. On the challenges, we still feel that we can do more with our stakeholders being involved in our programs when we evaluate them, because that would help us to understand so that we go back and reprocess, replan, so that we are able to respond better. If there were challenges, we should correct that. So yes, indeed, stakeholders are participating, but we still believe that more is still could be done to ensure that we get all the views and the input that could help us to reshape our orientation around the delivery. I'm moving now to Program 3. Program 3 is a very big program in the SASSETA in terms of the little budget that we have and also the staff, because it's a program that we deliver through, we interface with the external environment, because it manages various interventions that we seek to implement as we address either scarce or critical skills in the sector, and also if we're addressing our transversal skills in the space. So we still need accountant, even though we're in a security space. So we still need doctors. So even though we are in the space where we are, we need animal doctors. So there's a lot of things that are happening in the sector. So we don't necessarily only address the core skills in the sector. We also have a responsibility to address a transversal program. But of course, we prioritize the core, but even the transversal skills that are required in the sector, we do fund. This program is tasked to deliver initiative designed to support the upskilling, retraining of the workforce, aligned to the changing skills need of the sector and the economy, including digital skills and critical transversal skills. So I think the program director, speaks about the 4IR. So there is a lot of demand in the sector around the 4IR. So we are also focusing on that. So the next mandate for this program is tasked to support and facilitate young people's participation in the labor market and the smoother post-transition. So all the testimony that we were hearing here, it comes around this strategic goal that is in this program. We also support people to create their own employment through employment opportunities through skills development and entrepreneurial skills and cooperatives. I think the DG touched this in his key address. So we are also, as a SASSETA, position ourselves that we are playing a key role in that front as well. So these are all 5 strategic goals that are sitting in this program, which they speak to some of the things that you've already witnessed, linking education and the workplace. All the colleagues that they were giving testimony in today, this morning, they are coming to that strategic objectives. So there's many other testimony that we could bring here, but because of time, so we only just give you a snippet in terms of what we are doing as a SASSETA. So if you look at over the past 3 years, again, this program, it has been doing well. As I reported earlier, we had a bit of a dip of 97 in the 22-23 financial year, but we came back strongly. We are sitting at 100% in terms of the target that we set ourselves. So the program under the year review, we had 28 indicators with 9,952 annual targets. All those targets were achieved. So the details you will get on annual report page 33 to 42. So on the slide, it's sitting at slide number 26 to 35. So those are the details that are contained there. Sorry, I didn't move and then I was speaking to this slide, my apology. So this slide, it's just give you a remodeling of what we are trying to achieve when we are sitting at a planning. That's where we start as a SASSETA, where we plan and trying to remodel what we want to achieve. I think the testimony that we were hearing this morning, they are coming from this thinking. So where we put resources with an intention to address scarce critical skills, new occupations that would have been demanded. So the outcome is we are seeking to improve this. The impact you will see here, where more jobs created, there is more on a business side. So we will continue to look at this and revisit and see if we can still reshape to make sure that we are able to respond to the demands of the environment. So there were also areas of improvement in this program. Project capacity, we've injected a bit of personnel as we try to revamp our capacity. So we've also intensified stakeholder engagement to ensure that we are aligned in terms of the expectations with our stakeholders. We still experience challenges there and there, but we are working with our stakeholders to resolve those challenges where there has to do with a delay on the implementation of some learning programs. Program 4, which is the last program that you will find on the annual report, it's a quality assurance known as ETQA. This program is tasked with certification of learners and ensuring efficiency in the delivery of occupational qualification for the safety and security sector. There are two sub-programs that are sitting there. It's the quality assurance and the certification. So over the period of 3 years, this is what this program has been doing, consistently clean audit, 100%. In the year under review, this program had one indicator with 4 annual targets, which were all achieved. The areas of improvement, reduction of certification timelines, there is more intensification on the monitoring of skills providers to ensure that they are compliant. They also don't abuse our learnership. So those learnership are being delivered in line with the contract and the expectation. So we are doing more around the monitoring as well. So there is also challenges which we are seeing, which the board was seized with, which they are trying to address around the new mandates that are coming to the SASSETA. So we are also responding to that within the limitation of the resources that we have. Looking ahead, as a SASSETA, we will continue to improve access and investment in quality education and skills provision, informed by industry priority needs and economy. So on a digital transformation, it's more inward-looking in terms of how we reposition ourselves, how we transform our capability to respond to our mandate. We believe that we'll continue with the work that we've started to enhance our digital capability, to support the work practice, including streamlining and automating our processes in the SASSETA, so that Stakeholders, they don't have to come to SASSETA. We can interface and conclude on whatever various communication that we should with them through these capabilities that the 4IR present to us. On stakeholder collaboration, we will continue to work with our stakeholders as we had been doing. We have a stakeholder model. We've taken note on some of the input on the floor. We will go back and revisit that and see how best we can make sure that all our stakeholders support us. As you know, our sector is both public and private, so we continue to engage on various aspects that we have in the sector. This slide, it just gives a conclusion that SASSETA had not achieved this in isolation. We wish to thank all our stakeholders across the board for their cooperation and commitment and support during the past financial year. We also believe that the board and management and staff for their hard work, we are indebted to all of you. So we are also grateful for the commitment and the energy that continues to make this possible, because these things, they need focus on a vision, they need right energy to ensure that you continuously reflect on your activities. Are they still in line with your mandate? So that has been what we had been doing in the organization. DG Mvalo, when you conclude your presentation, you concluded with a quote. We thought, let us also conclude with a quote. And in your delivery, you said, we are a learning organization. Indeed, SASSETA is a learning organization. So there is a quote from Alvin Tolfa. The illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn, close quote. We thank you. I think you can still do more. Thank you so much. Program Director, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malala. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mamela, for your address. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a bit behind on our program, so I'm going to ask for your indulgence to bear with me at least for the next 30 minutes for us to conclude our program. I've been hearing that we don't want to save the trees. We want hard copies of the annual report. So for those of you who want hard copies of the annual report, there are ladies at the desks outside. You are more than welcome to approach them. We did bring along a few hard copies for those who are having some difficulty with the relearning process. But next year, we wouldn't bring them for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go slightly off program now. Irene, you'll forgive me. So I'm going to invite Dale to the stage, Dale McLaren. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to see how the beach is looking so that when we finish here, you can visit the beach? Would you like to see? Okay. Dale, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. So just while our pilot sets up outside, we'll be live streaming from the drone to the live screen, so you'll see the beach in full HD and nice and close. Just while they're setting up, my name's Dale McAleen. I'm the accountable manager of UAV Industries. You've seen some of our aircraft outside in the foyer. UAV Industries, we are a certified operator of drone technology, as well as a certified training organization, all certified by the Civil Aviation. Those who are aware, but drones are obviously regulated by Civil Aviation, and it's quite a stringent regulation. The regulations were promulgated in 2015, And as South Africa, we are still one of the best and have the strongest regulations at the moment. So if we look up on the screen, we're using an online platform. So you can see in the small inset, that's actually from the drone live. He's standing outside. If you don't believe me, someone can pop out and have a look. So we are limited, obviously, with permissions of where we can fly, so we will just be flying over the resort. We're also limited just on our angles that we're allowed to show for privacy reasons for the rest of the residents within the Zimbabwe state. So you can see there we've got a very good zoom. I will also ask the pilot just now to switch over to thermal, obviously for nighttime, where you use heat signatures to pick up criminals. While you're looking, I think on the training side, we're learning, unlearning, relearning, critical skills. I think drone pilots are still very much needed in the security industry. As UAV industries, and 90% of our operations are security operations, ranging from flying the large vertical takeoff and landing, the white Griffin Pro you've seen in the foyer, to flying the very small Mavic, which is what we're flying over here. There you can see that's on thermal. So obviously it's not as impressive in sunlight, but certainly at night time you can pick up the heat signatures, which is obviously then used to pick up people, vehicles, and abnormal activity that shouldn't be out there at night. So you can see that. So our real evidence where we've seen drones operating, especially along the railway network, the pipeline, mines, where the criminals are coming in and really are sort of being quite successful without the eye in the sky. Something that we've really learned is that the drones not only pick up criminal activity, but they also look after our security personnel on the ground. So obviously when you're a security member, you're out in the field, you get sent into the dark, not knowing what you're going to find, where when you've got a drone in the sky, the pilot can, A, guide the security officer to the criminal, and B, he can say, it's 5 criminals, it's 10 criminals, they're running left, they're running right, they've got a getaway vehicle, they've looked like they're armed. You know, it really becomes a lot more real and a lot more successful for the security members to actually get the officers and have a successful apprehension. We've also got, obviously, when you're looking at footage, I know the little notebook says destroy all evidence that you tried. We certainly don't destroy any evidence. We keep all our footage. Obviously, this we could live stream to your control rooms. Alternatively, as an operator, we've got large storage where we keep the footage anything from 48 hours to 5 years, depending on the client requirement. And then we have physically witnessed the footage being used in court following apprehensions, and there has been successful prosecutions. So with footage from the drone, obviously preserved correctly, and eyewitness reports from the pilots and other security members on the ground, the drone footage is being used in court, which is quite successful. As I said, this is a very small drone. It's only got about 20 minutes endurance. Very easy, quick to deploy, awesome camera, like most of our cell phones. So this is used for operations such as this, as well as if you need to do a quick deployment, not fly very far. The range is limited to about 5 kilometers. Where to the large, obviously the VTOL aircraft, 2.5 hours endurance on that, 25 kilometers range, for long-range surveillance, reconnaissance projects, etc. So there's certainly no one-size-fits-all with drones. We really do take pride in assessing our clients' needs, assessing the environment, and being willing to adapt and change. Because one day your environment looks like this, the next day weather's different, the criminal activity is different, the client wants something else. You need to have that variety in your drone technology. Just like any technology, it's only as successful as it is when it is applied correctly. Also ease of deployment, nice and small, quickly in the air. Some drones do take longer to set up, plan flights, etc. I think I'm just going to hand over to Rudin. He's our engineer. He can just explain the online platform to you of how the streaming works and the various capabilities. And then if you've got any questions, I don't know, I'll ask our program director. I know we are a bit tight on time. If we want to save questions for afterwards or while we are still in the air. Rudin, if you're there, you can just explain a little bit about the platform, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm a robotics engineer working at UAV Industries, and today I have the privilege of being able to show you guys a short live demonstration of our DJI Flight Hub 2 live drone operations management platform. So this drone operations management platform is able to accommodate as many drones as is required. Not only does it keep track of your drones in real life, their geographical coordinates, but also their altitude for superior operational efficiency. This being said, you also have the coordinates on screen, which you can see of the RC controller. This is where the pilot is flying the drone from in real time, as well as all live members in ground teams. So this small blue dot, as you can see, is my current location. The larger blue dot with the RC controller is the pilot, and the arrow is the current drone's heading, as well as its altitude is represented next to it. What is phenomenal about this software is that it means that you don't have to have a pilot located on site. The drone can be operated from anywhere in the world as long as it has enough charge to take off and is currently situated on site, whether there is an RC controller there or not. You can currently see that the drone is zooming in on Dale. This was from about 108.7 meters in the air. It also tells you your wind speed, and obviously to mitigate pilot error due to the assets being quite expensive as they are enterprise assets. If the wind is too high or connection is lost, the drone will always return to home and has all the necessary sensors to mitigate any such threats. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm open to any questions afterwards.
Okay, thank you very much. I've asked Dale to go outside just in case you thought that we had just filmed this prior, so that you can see she's moved from the podium. She's standing outside there, and the drone is zooming in on her. All right. Thank you very much, Dale and team. Thank you. We can forge ahead with the program then. I'm going to call the CFO, Mr. Ikalafeng Diale, for him to do a presentation then on the financial performance. Thank you, CFO.
Thank you, Program Director. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let me join and follow suit in recognizing all protocols. I will not be calling those. Jera, you're doing a very good job. You are a very beautiful audience, and thank you. When we talk financial statements, we can either do it this way. Have a full day, we talk about all standards applicable in those financial statements, or we can take a challenge from Joera saying, strategically, we are running out of time, knowing that I might have to do this in 7 minutes. What is your appetite? High level. Okay. So this is the outline of the presentation, very short. The full set of financial statements are in the annual report, so we will be talking to a very condensed version of this. We start with the income statement. This is just a snapshot at very high level. When you look at this income statement, you see that there has been a very good improvement in terms of revenue collected by the SASSETA over the past 3 years. In fact, we are only depicting 3 years here. That has been the trend for the over 5 years. Similarly, expenses, we are all about service delivery in the SASSETA, and therefore the objective of service delivery is also spending money, but in so doing, applying a duty of care. And these are the 3 segments of the SASSETA, where for each rent that we receive, we allocate it to these segments of administration, mandatory and discretionary grants, and we expense those receipts against these expenditure items. And that left us with an operating surplus for the current year of 42 million rands. That is not money we don't know what to do about. It's just an operating surplus from the income statement, and we'll talk to that impact of this later on the slides. And this is just a picture showing your contributions are coming from, most of our levies are derived from private entities, being our legal firms and also private security, followed by government departments under very strict conditions of budget cuts, and also very little of it coming from invested funds, and other income is as a result of proceeds from insurance and also grants from the ETDP SASSETA. This is expenditure analysis again. In context of the business of the SASSETA, we can agree on one thing. It only makes sense that the blue bar is the highest of all the bars. That's where the core of the SASSETA is happening, that represents expenditure from discretionary grants. We need administration to be funded so that we can continue with the business of the SASSETA, and the funds that we spend in administration, we are very careful on that as well. As we know, there are parameters within which we can spend on administration, and mandatory grants are self-regulatory, and what informs the expenditure on mandatory grants is the extent to which those that ought to be claiming mandatory grants are complying with the requirements to claim mandatory grants. We have had many roadshows requesting that please get assistance as far as claiming mandatory grants is concerned. It is a very simple process if you understand it. It's about submitting that WSPs, ATRs, and other compliant documents that we may need. So we don't take joy if we don't pay mandatory grants. Please do pay these mandatory grants. We have even set up a call center that is meant to be assisting all of us who are struggling with this so that we can claim this mandatory grants. So please make use of this opportunity. Ordinarily, our performance rate on mandatory grants is 85%, but with the interventions I've said, we have seen that rising to over 95%, which is a good thing, but we would love to pay all mandatory grants. Now we are getting deeper into the balance sheet. You look at the total assets position. Of course, I'm not going to speak to every number that is here. I'm going to talk to this at very high level. But we can engage. You do have the books and the notes to the financial statements that explain how we got to these numbers. But we see a rising trend in the total assets. So it's not a bad thing when your assets are going up, but there is science behind it. At the same time, we see a growing trend in the liabilities, but we get deeper into the liabilities on the following slides. But this whole balance sheet situation leaves us with net reserves and liabilities to the tune of 800 million rands for the year under review. And you see that trend has been growing. So it is not necessarily a bad thing, but let us get more closer to what the assets position of the balance sheet is about. Now, we are not an asset-heavy entity. Our property, plant, and equipment is all about our office furniture, the ICT equipment, the tools of trade. Now, for an organization like SASSETA, 13 million rands worth of asset as a balance when you close a financial year is not so significant. But from Mr. Memela's presentation, we saw that there is a need to intensify and capacitate our ICT infrastructure. Going forward, we anticipate that we will do a little bit more in terms of ICT infrastructure, and that balance will be growing. And the decrease in assets is as a result of accounting for depreciation and other related activities. So don't be concerned with the trend going down on assets. We expected this to be a way it is. There's nothing abnormal with it. Work in progress is all about development of systems. We had colleagues talking about the development of the management information system, which is geared to simplify our work as a SASSETA and make sure that we do not work very hard. We work very, very smarter, and it has very good benefits for all of us. So that's where we are. This is what we could capitalize. Intangible assets, definitely, as you deploy technology, you need to be procuring licenses to operate this software. You can imagine the authority in training a whole entity in safety and security working on software that is not legal. So we are quite comfortable that everything is on track as far as non-current assets are concerned. And we get to the current assets, the significant balance there is 761 million rands, which is actual cash sitting in the bank account. Now, 761 million rands is a lot of money. But the science behind this is these funds are committed to the project. So this is just an accounting position of the cash that we have. When we get towards the end of the slides, you will see programs against which these balances are committed to. We have receivables from both exchange and non-exchange transactions together combined sitting at the tune of about 11 million rands, which is what we expected this to be. But when your receivables are going down, It's not a bad thing. It simply says people that are owing you are paying you. And that's what we want to see. But there is a lot of movement that is happening behind these numbers. Our inventory is not so significant, but it's all about consumables. Now, talking to the cash we have as a significant balance, we only have bank accounts, 2 of them. The Reserve Bank and the Net Bank operating account. That's where we pay salaries, we transact when we pay all of you stakeholders. And at some point, if you have been following our AGMs, you would have noted that we had more than these as bank accounts, but at some point, Treasury decided to close ranks and say, no, you shall invest in the CPD account, which is what we did. Now, the blue bars are saying, what is the capital situation of the funds invested? And the green bars at the end are saying, of those figures in the blue, how much interest we earned from this. So we are not doing very bad, and there is very little amount of creativity one can do in terms of investment strategies. We need to be complying with the law, but we are doing fine. We are now getting to the obligations part of the balance sheet, where we look at the non-current liabilities first. The amount is not significant there. It's all about finance lease obligations. I'm not worried about that. We then get to the meat of the current liabilities. The significant balance there is, again, payables from exchange transactions, followed by non-exchange, of course, the provisions as well, and the current portion of the finance lease. So we are quite comfortable that this position of liabilities is reflecting the work that we do, particularly on the exchange transactions and non-exchange transactions, sorry. It reflects the work that we do, particularly in the grants position. Often we tend to confuse the situation and tend to think that when you look at the face of the income statement and you see the funds that have been disbursed under discretionary grants, and tend to think this is the extent of work we would have done on discretionary grants. It is not. You find a situation whereby for some reasons invoices are not paid, not because we didn't want to pay them, for compliance reasons others would have came late after the cutoff, and some of that invoices that ought to have been paid are sitting under that balance, hence it is so significant. And our provisions are explained just under the total liabilities. 500K provision, I don't need to explain what that is, but we are grateful to employers who are still not meeting the threshold, but feel that there is an obligation to be paying something to the SASSETA in terms of the grants regulations. The fact that you are not paying levies or meeting the threshold does not necessarily mean that you can't be a beneficiary of the discretionary grants. We still do assist you after vetting processes to ensure that you are within the correct category, and those that are continuing to pay, we are grateful. What then happens when these funds are not claimed after 5 years, they accrue to the SASSETA? Leave pay provision is all about leave to the SASSETA employees. In the event we were saying we wind up the SASSETA by 31st March 2024, it would have meant that we owe our staff that. So we do encourage staff to take leave. This does not resemble monies that we will be paying. It's just, say, in terms of obligations, where are we relating to leave? Performance bonus, I don't want to talk to that. Let me skip that one. There was mention of what needs to be happening, but yeah, that's where we are in terms of the performance bonus. It's just a provision. It does not guarantee anyone anything, but accounting-wise, we need to be saying, as much as we comply to our HRD policies, there is an expectation that we need to be raising something in the event there is appetite to do something about the performance of the SASSETA. Other is very, very insignificant, I'm not worried about. Now, this slide talks to the strength of our balance sheet, and any financial analyst will tell you that these are very simple ratios to determine. The first one, current ratio, shows the strength of our total assets against the liabilities. You know, the number of times we can cover the liabilities with the total assets, and the next one is all about the cash ratio, how much cash we have, and how much that cash can cover the total liabilities. And we forget about the rest of the assets. It's not necessarily a bad position, but we are doing something about this situation. The ideal position is 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5. Once this picture starts looking like this, I guarantee you it's just an accounting thing. Our drive is to make sure that we reverse the situation and we accelerate on projects so that we disperse these funds. When we have a big cash balance, we are getting concern. If this was a private sector, shareholders would be clapping hands and will be saying we did very well. But from a service delivery perspective, we are saying let us accelerate so that we don't find ourselves in this situation. The significant balance in our disclosure notes is the commitments. This is one area that if you don't manage very carefully, many things can go wrong. And those that are stakeholders to many SETAs that are struggling and had unfortunate audit outcomes will tell you that if this area is not managed carefully, it can attract a lot of problems, including audit qualifications. But we have mastered as the collective to try and manage this, and you will see that the balance for the current year on commitments is at 567 million rands, which is a slight decline from the previous year, showing that we are really trying to accelerate it to make sure that we reduce the extent of the commitments. It's all about the funding model as well, in terms of the programs, how many years you commit for each program. But we are working on ensuring that we address this situation. It is by design of the programs that we have to be sitting with this balance as is, but there is really nothing to be concerned about. And the rest that we see there is a type of interventions on which the 567 million rands is committed to. We deployed systems of internal control that are not only detecting, but that are proactive in ensuring that we don't find ourselves in contravention of the PFMA, incurring fruitless and wasteful expenditure. As a result, we see a zero balance in the current year. The 22,000 rand, which was very unfortunate and was unavoidable, we did explain what that was for last year. Life does happen. We are not perfect, but we are fortunate again that our control system was able to ensure that we did not incur any. We move then to the irregular expenditure slide. Irregular expenditure is not about people stealing money and things going wrong. It could be process issues, and this is what happened in the current year. The bulk of this money is as a result of process deficiencies that occurred elsewhere, and the SETA unfortunately had to incur that irregular expenditure. By definition, in terms of the PFMA, it is reported against the budget that incurred it. It is for that reason that we are very open and transparent in disclosing this, and a very small portion of it, of less than 20,000, is as a result of misinterpretation of the law, and we take responsibility for that. I still bash my head how I managed to misinterpret the law, but no money was stolen, and the services were accrued to the SETA. Now, what then happens when you have instances of irregular and fruitless and wasteful expenditure? One, there is a determination criteria. You investigate, you determine whether there was any losses incurred by the organization. Where someone needs to be accountable, you institute consequence management and other processes that are associated with that. And the most important thing is to determine whether services were accrued to the SETA or not. As I said, it's not about stealing these things, it's about a process that can go wrong, but you still accrue services on behalf of the organization. Now, all of these steps were satisfied, audited independently by the Auditor General, by internal audit, and we do give you comfort that nothing went wrong. That is Anju. Now, you're going to have to bear with me. It wouldn't make sense that the CFO comes to the stage and doesn't say a clean audit also. You've heard a lot of it, but I must mention that, again, we got another clean audit. Of course, we showed 3 years in all presentations. We have done it more than 3 years. And it's as a result of the good work that everyone is doing under the leadership of the Accounting Authority, Mr. Motau, the Chief Executive, board members, chamber members also do contribute to this performance. And all of you stakeholders, when we send you emails saying correct this, this is wrong, submit compliant documents, all of this effort is assisting us to achieve this clean audit. So we are very grateful for your cooperation. And we do listen to our advices as well. There are 1 or 2 cases where I would receive a call and say, look at this thing, I'm not happy, I apply mine, then I realize that there is a 4 point on what is being raised, and we correct what needs to be corrected. So it is a concerted effort of all of us, and we are grateful for everything that you do. Excellent governance, effective internal control, staff commitment are very key. You get these pillars right, I guarantee you, this is a good recipe to start shaping towards these outcomes of achievement of 100% of the targets and a clean audit outcome. Now, we would have wanted to get a picture of everyone, including staff, the chamber members. Then we thought this picture, and you would have seen it on Mr. Mamela's slide, it's a representation of all of us. And we are very grateful, and we see this as a product and support of hard work from all of us, the Accounting Authority, Audit and Risk Committee, management, staff, chamber members, all of you stakeholders. We are grateful for your commitment, dedication, and energy that propels SASSETA to always thrive. That was a short story. I couldn't reach a 7-minute target, but I did my best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, CFO. Thank you very much, CFO, for the presentation of the financials. So I'm going to move on to questions in respect of the financial and the non-financial performance of SASSETA. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have questions for the colleagues online? I forgot to mention, I did get the information, there was 83 delegates who are joining us virtually. So I'm going to ask that the delegates who are joining us virtually, should they have any questions, that they please urgently type it in the chat box so that the questions can come to me via Irene. Can we get the roving mics? And colleagues, if you have a question, can you please raise your hand? The question is regarding Mr. Mamela's performance and Mr. Diala's performance, which is the financial and the non-financial performance. Okay. Don't worry, if you don't have questions, it's fine. Even when we went to Parliament, I must say, they told us they were bored. They are too used to organizations coming there and having a lot of issues that they can pick up from the financials and from the performance, and they're used to that. So with us, they said they were bored. They couldn't find anything wrong in the financials. They couldn't find anything wrong in the non-financial performance. But yeah, that's just on a lighter note. Are there any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, there's a hand here. I'd request that you please stand up and identify yourself and then pose your question. My colleagues are recording the questions. The CEO, CFO, and Mr. Diale need to earn your salary today. Please record the questions and you can come to the podium and answer.
I'm just checking if the mic is on. I'm Barbara. I'm from Attorneys Newman and White in Durban. I want to thank you for the wonderful presentation. And also to the board. It's wonderful to see so many people in attendance. One thing I'd like to ask in terms of the financials and with the openness of the advertising of the different WIL programs and programs, is there any way that on your financials you can also include how many positions were advertised, how many were taken up, and how many completed? So in actual terms, the number of people that applied, the number that completed, because it's of interest to us. We always found that one of our biggest challenges was the time it takes in order to get a candidate into the program. We apply and then due diligence is done so much later, and we end up sort of having employed someone that's gone almost a year and a half into the program and hasn't got a discretionary grant. Then we get a discretionary grant and we've quickly got to try and find someone else when there's not enough space for that specific candidate. So that's just a small challenge that there is. But it would be nice to see what was advertised and what eventually your financials recorded. So when we see the discretionary grants, how many people did that cover? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next hand is on the second table on my left, if we can have a roving mic there. Is there any other hands?
Thanks, Program Director. I'm Nhlanhla Ndlovu from the National Skills Authority. It's more of a comment. I hope it's acceptable because there were no questions. So I think, well, let's appreciate first all the presentations, including the reports. There are 2 comments I wish to make. The first one relates to the information that is being shared. So as the National Skills Authority, we are seized with numbers. And in our SASSETA performance, we are actually finding that there's a lot of sitters. Of the 21 sitters, most are performing. And they are getting 100% of their targets, and they are getting, in fact, clean audits. So it's what has happened. There's improvement in governance and in performance. But there's actually a problem that we have got 11 million South Africans unemployed. And sometimes what we are talking about, we could be talking about a SASSETA that impacted less than 15,000. So I don't know the numbers. I have not checked them. So I think that in terms of reporting, just the size of and we are looking at it now, all of us are coming to the end of our terms of office. Us in January as NSA, we are out of office. The accounting authority is I think March, is out of office, like for the sitters. So the second part is about that this AGM as the AGM that is the last for the accounting authority. What I would have liked to see, and I'm also saying this because in the past maybe 24 months, as like the sports school education and training sector, we have had a lot of things that we have been seized with. So what I would have liked to see in the AGM like this, because we have actually gathered the stakeholders in the sector, is to allow for some conversations about what could be done to improve performance and other things that are actually like seizing us. For instance, the employers and the challenge of more than 200,000 young people who have completed their training, but they can't be placed. So I'm saying that if it may not be an obligation constitutionally, but the fact that the sectors, the SASSETA is able to get the sector under one roof, it could benefit us a lot just to get what it is that the stakeholders are saying about what should be done, maybe even in the next 5 years. So those are the 2. Otherwise, I think that congratulations to the SASSETA for the 100% performance as well as the clean audit, as well as for the clean audit. We congratulate you from the National Skills Authority point of view. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I believe there's no questions online. There's no other questions in the hall. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Program Director. My name is Jones Maparapatwa. I'm the president of TAPSOSA. Firstly, I also like to congratulate SASSETA on the clean audit plus the 100%. Maybe mine will go direct to the chairperson and his board. Obviously, knowing that they are almost on their way out. We would like to make a request to them to say, please leave us with the legacy. The legacy that we require as the private security industry is that, one, let us level the playing field. I heard earlier Comrade Vusi raise a concern about certain private companies that are white-owned that were called to present here the program of learnership where they absorbed learners, which is a good thing. However, what we are saying is evaluate us fairly. You cannot compare an apple and maize and you think it is the same thing. It's not the same thing. Evaluate us fairly. So that is one of the legacies that we require, or we request, that the chairperson of the board and the board should leave us with. Please transform the SASSETA. The second one is for you to assist us on this great haste that was done by a private company that stole that firearm unit study to accredit companies or the firearm trading. Would you please assist us in ensuring that training accreditation is returned back to SASSETA, please? The third one would be on this leadership program. We still have these big companies that are deploying learners across the sector. And they are paying them from the stipends that you are providing them. But you still find that they are charging their clients and getting paid from the clients for the services they're providing through the learners. And that is corruption, it's fraud. Would you assist us in ensuring that we stop this practice? Because it's hitting the industry. There's no transformation industry because of this problem. And it's mainly these big companies that you are projecting here that are hitting the industry. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. That would be the last comment and question that I'll take. While CEO is coming up, I think, to answer, in respect of the first issue that was raised, I think it was more a comment, and I think we've noted, and we will try to put the detailed information in our annual reports going forward. And I think in respect of the issue that you've touched on in respect of the delays from the application to the awarding stage, I think it's a risk that we've picked up internally even through our audit committee, and we're busy doing an audit on that area of granting and the delays in granting at the moment. And part of the outcomes of the audit would be to enable us to get information on how we can speed up the entire value chain in terms of awarding. So that is one of the areas we've picked up the risk that we are working on. CEO, you'd like to come and take the other questions? Must I take the firearm one, or are you going to? Okay, then I'll also take the firearm training issue. And I think just to give some history on this area, in terms of, I think Mr. Memela also spoke to this, that in Program 4, which is our quality assurance, there's new delegated powers that we have. And we've moved from having legacy qualifications now to having occupational qualifications in line with the new regime of training, where there must be classroom training, there must be practical training, and there must be workplace training. Now, to that end, SASSETA has applied to the QCTO for the development of firearm-related skills programs for the 4 gun types that they are, in terms of having occupational skills programs for those areas. And we are proceeding with that work. We've developed the first 2 skills programs that is in line with the new outlook of government, in line with the new way that occupational qualifications and skills programs must be developed. So we have developed. We're planning on verifying those first 2 skills programs on the 15th of January next year, and then we'll start to develop the other skills programs for the 3 other gun types. So it's something that we are working on to come up with relevant skills programs relating to firearm training. Yes, there are other matters which are court matters, but then I'll leave it to my boss to talk to that at the appropriate forum. CEO, you can come to take the other questions.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the questions. The abuse of learnerships is a matter that is concerning. It has been raised a number of times, and we are doing work to make sure that there is compliance with the regulations, working together with CIRA and the Bargaining Council, and we will intensify our efforts of trying to arrest the abuse of the learnerships. Ms. Ahmad has spoken to the firearms matter. What I must just add and emphasize is that there's currently court cases that are pending, and we have been warned by our legal representatives to be very careful about what we say about this issue of the firearms. But the request that has been made, it is something that we are working on. Transformation in the sector is part of our mission. Professionalizing and transforming the SASSETA is our mission in the organization. We do take the point that we could have done more in terms of the selection of the project and the stakeholders that we showcased today. We do take that point. We just gave an instruction very quickly that let's identify projects that can show impact, and impact can be shown, and we made examples by those learners that have been absorbed, and we do take that point. But I just want to assure all stakeholders that transforming the sector through skills development is what we are about in the organization. The discussions in the AGM are predominantly about accounting for what we have done. We do have forums and platforms of engagement with stakeholders where we grill into the detail of the work of the SASSETA, including what can we do better to improve. When I spoke earlier, I made mention about some of the improvements that we're making into our systems, and I made a commitment that come the beginning of January, we'll be issuing communications and we'll be having road shows to engage stakeholders on the work. We still convene the same group in the various regions where we operate, and we engage them on a program that runs for almost the entire day, focusing on that particular matter that we would be discussing at that particular time. For an occasion like today, from a compliance perspective, we have things that we need to deal with, and that is what the focus was. Also, we are a little bit restricted, particularly on the focus of what we're going to be doing over the next 5 years, because the cabinet is still finalizing the medium-term development plan, which is the government plan for the next 5 years. And in my speech, the marketing people will tell you they're asking for it. There's a part that's indicated in red. And I wrote it there, but I didn't read it out because it's really a work in progress, things that are still being finalized. But in the ordinary AGMs, you would have seen us also play particular attention to the work that is going to be done moving ahead. All that we could do for today was to indicate that those 3 priorities in the MTDP, they are aligned with the mandate of what it is that we're trying to do. And then on the numbers, we are a very small SASSETA. Our share of the skills development levy is 3%, with revenue of just about 655 million rands. And we service quite a large sector, and we do the best that we can with the resources that are available. But we do thank stakeholders for all the inputs and comments. And like Mr. Memela said in that quote, we must learn, unlearn, and relearn. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO. Can I request that someone proposes for the adoption of the annual report? Any stakeholder, if you can stand up, identify yourself, and please do. There's no one. Okay, can we have the mics to this table, please?
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anna Mashihu. I am representing organized labor from Sansof. I'm happy to move for the adoption.
Thank you very much, Anna.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I move to support the adoption of the report. Thank you.
Can you identify yourself, sir? Just for record purposes?
My name is Victor from Tapsosa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have adopted the annual report. So from tomorrow, you will file a copy of the annual report then on our website as well. But like I said earlier on, if you want a hard copy, you can request one from the back desk. I see the AR staff members who have hard copies who are walking around in the back of the venue hall. Thank you very much. I believe lunch is ready, ladies and gentlemen, so we don't want to delay your lunch. We just have 2 items left. I've been told that Mr. Mvalo, DGG Mvalo is in the hotel, but he's busy in another meeting, online meeting. I'm going to request that Mr. Ngubane come forward to just collect a gift for DGG Mvalo and one for himself as well. Mr. Ngubane is the Chief Director responsible for skills development at the Department of Higher Education and Training. Can I request the chairperson of the board to come to present the gift?
Are they the same, or yeah, one is for the big boss and the one is for the other?
Thank you very much, Chair and Mr. Ngubane. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to invite our board member, Ms. Lozipo, to do the closing address for us. Ms. Lozipo.
Let's see. Good afternoon, everyone. I will not be long. It looks like everyone is rushing for their flights, but it's safe to say to the chairperson of the board members present, the stakeholders, the chairperson of the ARC, and the independent ARC members, the CEO, the executive, and all the staff present, as well as the DHET, Department of Higher Education and Training representative, good afternoon. As the last AGM of the board, a board that served the term of 2019 to 2024, we wish to thank you for honoring and finding it necessary to attend the SASSETA AGM. This AGM coincides with the launch of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence and child abuse. And as we are sitting here at 12 o'clock, the Minister of Police issued the crime statistics of this last quarter. The SETA is expected to respond with necessary skills to address these challenges in order to make sure and ensure that we have a safe and a secured country. I must say that it has been a very challenging journey, but progressive, with the year of COVID-19 that we cannot forget, that introduced some regulations that made most of work to stand still. We are proud to say that in our term, we are living with a record will keep on saying the same thing. We are leaving a clean record of a clean audit, but the clean audit must be impactful. I think a gentleman there was talking about the impact as much as we have these clean audits. It must be impactful. It should have an impact in the communities and in the society at large. There is still a need for improvement, in particular in the world of technology and artificial intelligence. In a labor market intelligence research program focusing on skills, supply and demand in South Africa, the Department of Higher Education and Training highlighted the skills mismatches in different industries. One of the factors accounting for this mismatch in skills is the technological challenges and now the just transition. The invention of new machines must go hand in hand with the reskilling of workers. Maybe that will be the task of the next board. With that, we are saying we wish you all a safe journey back home. Siyabulela, ndolebuwa. Thank you. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much, Ms. Luzipo. Short and sweet. So we have come to the end of our program, ladies and gentlemen. Lunch will be served in level 3 of the hotel, so please do join us for lunch. And I think as we exit our conference hall, we'd ask the Department of Correctional Services, Koya, to come and render their last item for us. So if you could please make your way to the front so that you can render your last item. Thank you very much. You have indeed been a lovely audience. Travel safely back home. Thank you. Good day.